To hide from the rain, we just made it to the official press center of the G7. They're having a little reception here, and it should be interesting to see what other journalists are doing. And this is the reception for the G7 journalists. Dan's excited about the free food. Should be interesting. And free beer. They definitely want to keep the journalists intoxicated. Maybe they'll do their jobs better, or actually have a conscience. They really want to keep the journalists happy here. Just a bunch of booze to keep them sedated, and of course sports. And all the journalists are eating it up here at the G7. And then why do journalists need photos of themselves? I don't know, but the G7 is spending a lot of money where it shouldn't be spending it. The G7 is literally popping champagne bottles for people here like they're in some freaking club. And this is just for the journalists here that are covering the event. What about the delegates? Okay, so the G7 press area is pretty ridiculous. They give you a free t-shirt, all the liquor you could have. They give me a shot glass, a free book bag. I just woke up, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and it is way too early here. And there's literally no one in the streets, but it's beautiful. If you look at Garnish. So right now we're driving through many police checkpoints to the many protests that are happening today here in Garnish. A lot of protesters will use different ways to try to break through. Everyone is telling us that today is going to be the major day. So a lot of chaos is expected. Let's just hope we're in the right place at the right time. So we're on site of one of the protests today. And as you can see, everything here is locked down. Protesters are coming here in just a few minutes. Now this road is very important, so the police are protecting it, because if this road is shut down by protesters, the G7 cannot continue in any way, shape or form. So as you can see, this area is totally locked down. The roads are blocked, the trains are stopped, and we were told protesters are supposed to be here, but they're not. They're about 10 kilometers away, which means about 2 hours. We had a risky bet, we placed it, and we probably made the wrong one right now. But that's okay, things don't always work out the way that you want them to. We can't go anywhere because the roads are blocked, so I'm just going to take a nap because I really need one right now.
We are waiting for the Beast, which is carrying Obama, which is about to drive by. So let's wait and see what happens.
This is actually Barack Obama's presidential motorcade.
Barack Obama's motorcade.
This is actually a huge motorcade. I mean, this is still going on for a very long time. So this is the bike protest that just arrived here. There's other demonstrations that are walking here, but this is the first one that has just arrived. Now the police are telling the protesters on bikes that their bikes are not allowed in the free speech zone that they have set up for them here by the G7. So right now, as you can see behind me, there's a situation because the police are not letting the press get to their cars because the road is now permanently blocked off, leaving us here. As you can see here, not many people were able to get here because the roads are blocked, cars are not available, public transportation was closed down, and only these bikers made it to this protest zone here. But there's more press than protesters, and there's a lot more police everywhere in the vicinity. And there's a lot more police officers. We're also joined by Wearechange Rotterdam, which is here.
Hi there! Hi there, great to see you over there.
How does Wearechange Rotterdam have official press t-shirts of Wearechange? I'm not even on that level. Rotterdam's doing amazing here.
You have a full accreditation. Well, no full accreditation, but we made this t-shirt ourselves. That's really grassroots, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
For the Wearechange Europe part of it.
Okay, Wearechange is everywhere. It's all around the world. Here in Europe, we are Wearechange Rotterdam, Wearechange.nl.
So that's the main road that's blocked off right now. As you can see, a number of police cars going past us. There's about 5 minutes of just straight police cars rolling past us. And so there's a number of factors that deterred the protest today. Number one, the weather. The protest camp was shut down because of intense weather yesterday. And plus, everyone's really wet and just tired and exhausted. Yesterday was a very intense day. A lot of people had broken arms and legs, a lot of serious injuries, and of course they are exhausted, and it's impossible to get here by walking. So we finally got approval and a special permit to leave the designated press and protest area. We're actually joining up with an AP reporter and following him. Fellow journalist Romus just pointed out the fact of how there's metal barricades aligned here for miles for no reason at all. They're just wasting money. Just got the Garmisch and police officers are running somewhere. We're getting out very soon and we're going to be reporting for you what's happening down here in Garmisch Central Station. Well, the riot cops just finished running here, and it looks like there's a very big, significant, unannounced march happening right now in Garmisch. Protesters are now marching. Refugees are welcome here. This is really intense. March is still continuing even in this extremely hot weather. A lot of people are feeling it and they're really tired and exhausted, and this march is not ending. If these protests prove one thing, it's how absurd, fearful, and paranoid the world leaders are of their own people. We're back at the Journalist Retreat Vacation Center, or as we call it, the G7 Journalism Center. I am starving, haven't eaten all day. I want to take advantage. And just to reiterate, this press center is ridiculous. We are not anywhere near the G7 summit, but for some reason we're all here, getting fed information. So there's no actual reporting done in this huge center that they spent all this money for, with all this food and alcohol. You can't actually get anywhere near the politicians to ask them any questions, and the journalists here are just sent videos and pictures from what's happening from approved pool journalists. So there's no reporting here at all. The journalist could literally do this job from the hotel and probably be closer to the G7 summit and do the same kind of job that they're doing right now. And the main problem is that they're just puppeteering. They're getting press releases and photos and videos that are approved by governments and just repeating what they're being told to say. I'm joined by actually a real reporter, Charlie Skelton. He works for The Guardian and many online publications, and he pretty much summarized it best.
Great, okay, so how long have I got? 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, so 10 seconds. Here I am at the, here I am.
There are actually more drunk journalists in this room right now than there are aware of Bilderberg in the entire world.
Charlie is also a writer for many comedy shows, as you can see. But in all seriousness, you wonder why there's no mainstream media coverage of the Bilderberg Group. At Bilderberg, journalists actually have to do their jobs and investigate. There's no press releases that you could just puppet and regurgitate and throw out as fact. If reporting on the G7 is this easy, with your job pretty much done for you, puppeteering everything in luxury, in all the food and liquor you could have, it's not a story, it's not journalism, it's propaganda.